Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blow the Whistle Sports. I'm your host, Wayne Holloway, and thank you once again for tuning in. We are back from that little bitty hiatus that we just took, and glad to be back up in the studio. If you want anything or want to see anything on this show, please hit us in our DMs, holler at us, we holler back. And please, like always, like, subscribe, share to a friend, be nice, hit us up. If you got something to say, call in. Without further ado, I don't want to hold this show up because we got a lot of stuff to get into. Let me introduce my co-host, the man of the hour, Mr. Steven Rubain.
All right, man. I feel like we almost had like a divorce. We were gone for so long. Man, it was like a whole month. It was like every week. It's like, I got something I want to say. I got something I want to say. It's like, oh, man, we're not doing the show this week.
We're going to figure that out, too, because
Yeah.
when some good news come in, we need to say something about it when they come in.
We need to have like special alerts, like have just a simple like little blog or somebody just going to sit there and say, hey, breaking news, such and such and such.
Exactly.
And, like
and then we'll go over it a little bit and say we'll finish up on the studio day.
Absolutely, because this was a long time. A whole lot of stuff happened in this month we've been gone, so we're going to try to get as much in as we can. I'm not going to be able to get it all in today, but we're going to get as much as we can in.
Yeah, you see I got my Laker hat on, right?
I see you wearing a Laker hat. So we go
Lake Show.
So we're going to talk about one of the things that happened over the break was the Kobe Bryant statue unveiling.
Ooh,
how do you feel about that? I mean, I know how you feel, but how do you feel about the fact that they totally, I don't know what to say, messed up the spelling on numerous things within the statue? They had all this time to plan for the statue, and somebody didn't do their homework and do a check of the.
This is not just homework. These are simple words they made mistakes on.
How do you spell decision? DECICION. Come on now. And the funny thing is, what is it? They had decision on top of each other. The first time it was spelled right. The second time it was spelled wrong. So he had to look at it and say, wait a second. I spelled it the first time right. DECISON. And he spelled it the second time DECICION.
But the thing is, they have to proofread everything before it goes in final print.
You would think so. Obviously, they didn't do it for this one.
Somebody must have stayed up late that night and made a mistake when they turned in the work.
But you would think that somebody would have looked at it and said, hey, we can't show this. This is messed up.
And please don't tell me that it was fans that saw this. Like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, it was fans that saw it. They sitting there looking like, what is Von Wafer? How you spell Von Wafer wrong? That's the easiest name in the world to spell.
My goodness.
So that is kind of disappointing. So they said they're gonna go.
Did somebody make that a mistake on purpose? You think?
I don't know. That's a great question.
This has.
Do you think what was his name? Smush Parker. You think Smush Parker put some?
Oh, you saw the stuff Smush was saying?
Yeah, Smush was having. Ooh,
Smush has his feelings still. He's still in his feelings.
He has a lot of feelings, man.
My.
He's somebody you gotta worry about him. He might go and piss on Kobe's grave.
Wow,
that's how much he hates Kobe. But let's get all this. Well, we do want to talk about some NBA though, because one thing
to get that off his chest.
He needs to get off his chest. Yeah, he needs to let it go. I've let my Kobe feelings go. He needs to let his feelings go. I mean, even though Kobe was worse to him.
And yes, people, this is the biggest Kobe hater right next to me.
Come on,
you can feel it generating right now. He has somebody else to kick around right now, the people that made the mistakes with the words. But
you mean I didn't drive down there just have a field day on it? No, I wouldn't do that. Let him rest in peace. But,
and just because he's a Kobe hater, he's a LeBronite. Well, that's what we'll call him, LeBronite.
Yes. Well, this LeBronite watched that NBA All-Star Game weekend. We got to talk about this for a second.
How'd you like it?
Very disappointed. I mean, I'm tell you why. The Friday and Saturday went according to plan. Anybody don't know about the All-Star Showcase weekend. Friday they do the celebrity game. They do the it used to be called the rookie game. Now they call it kind of like this legends type thing or whatever. Where they have kind of like the rookies and sophomores play together. Saturday is All-Star Saturday. They do the slam dunk, the skills challenge, and then they do the 3-point shootout.
Right.
This year they added a special where they had Curry go against Sabrina Ionescu.
I like that.
That was a night that went very well.
And she stood up on her own.
She stood up and did very well. She looked great. I mean, and of course, Curry pulled it out at the very last.
We didn't expect her to beat The man, the myth, the legend.
No, but she competed herself well. She definitely made it worth the time to bring it back again next year. So Friday and Saturday went pretty well, but the disappointment was on Sunday, the All-Star game itself. And I'm gonna just call it for what it is. Let's just be real about it. First of all,
put it on out there.
I'm gonna put it on out there. These NBA players every year in the summertime, and it's been going on for generations. They go and play summer league. You know about summer league basketball. Right. You know, out here in LA, we got the Drew League, very famous. You know, in DC, they got the Kenner League, very famous. Now up in Seattle, Jamal Crawford has his summer league.
Right.
These guys go out there. They play against other players, G League players, guys off the street. You know, all kind of guys just playing these summer leagues. And these guys play hard in the summer. They're out there. They're playing defense. They're running. They're doing everything they got to do because of pride. You don't want to go out there and look bad in these summer league games because you're in front of a crowd that's going to get on you if you're out there and you're not playing hard.
Yes, sir. On you real tough.
Real tough. Now, you got an NBA showcase where you're playing in front of a sold-out crowd, millions around the world to showcase the league that's paying you millions of dollars. And you're going to go out there and play no defense whatsoever and go out there and act like this is like a Friday and what's it called?
On the blacktop.
On the blacktop at the beach.
At the park.
At Venice Beach or at the park or whatever, where you just out there just playing around like it's no big
freestyle.
Deal. Freestyle. This game, the East beat the West 211 to 186. That's embarrassing.
What was it? You know what? It lost its luster for me for a while. You know, the 3-point competition and the slam dunk competition I'll tune in for. But the game is not a game anymore. It was just they don't take it serious. Before the East used to hate the West and they used to come out in the game.
And play hard. I mean, you understood the first half, the guys are gonna go around and kind of just do their thing. But by the time it came to the fourth quarter, that's the money time.
They bring it in.
Guys bring it in. Guys were playing. This game, it was like a 5-foot rule. You weren't allowed to get within 5 foot of each other. They didn't want anybody to get in. I guess maybe it was a social distancing. Maybe it was still they thought it was COVID. they thought they had to
6 feet apart.
Yeah, had to keep 6 feet apart. They didn't want anybody to come near each other to play defense because it was just literally, let's just roll down, shoot a 3-pointer wide open. Okay, well I'm gonna dribble down. Okay, I'm gonna dunk. Okay, everybody get out of the way. I'm about ready to dunk. Don't get close to me. And then I went down again, 3-pointer, and then I gotta go down and say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna shoot a layup. Don't anybody get close to me. I don't want nobody to play defense on me. I was so frustrated. I had to just end. I said, I can't take this no more. So the NBA, they got 2 problems right now. That's the one problem. That's the first problem.
You better be glad that somebody didn't take a special day and they didn't feel like playing. Be happy of that. Well, because they do that now too.
They do that now too. So, right now you don't have to do that because you're not going to get touched. You don't have to worry about nobody hurting you. Nobody gets within 5 feet of you. So everybody play. Yeah, I'll go out there too. Yeah. If I knew nobody was going to play defense on me. So that's the first problem the NBA has. And then another problem that's even probably a little more deeper problem is while the NBA has a whole lot of talent, right now the NBA is still being held together by its probably 2 to 3 elite players. You got LeBron, you got Curry, and then you got maybe Durant and Giannis.
So you're trying to say the NBA has a marketing problem also?
They're going to have a big marketing problem because I don't see anybody on the horizon right now who can come anywhere close to taking over the marketing complex.
Wemby.
No, he don't. It don't look like he has the personality. There's something about him that doesn't seem like, because it's more than just about how you play the game. You look at the NBA. The NBA, for a lot of years was just another league, right. And then you had Magic and Bird, and you had Magic's smile, Magic's personality. He took the NBA to that next level, not just because of his play, but because he was dynamic. He was somebody that people wanted to be around.
Right.
And then you had a couple years later, you have Michael Jordan come out, and Michael Jordan took it to that next level because even though he didn't have Magic's personality, he had that smile, he had that look that excelled on Madison Avenue, along with his hues, of course. So Michael carried the league for almost 10, 12 years, Kobe came out. Kobe needed a couple times, a little while to build, but he eventually took over and took where Michael had it. And you had that for all throughout the 2000s. And then when LeBron came in the league, he took the mantle off of Kobe when Kobe retired.
So there's no replacement right now.
There's no replacement right now. So I don't know. Maybe in the next year, maybe in the next 2 years, somebody's going to come out.
What's wrong with Wemby? What's that certain something that you're talking about that Wemby can't bring to the game?
He don't have the personality. It's something, like I said, it's more than just playing the game itself. You can play. I mean, you can be as talented as you want to be, but you got to have that certain personality, that certain charisma. I was just listening to him talk. I mean, because of the accent, they tried to give Luka. They wanted to get to Jokic. They don't want the mantle. They don't want any part of it. Kawhi, they wanted to try to push him up. He don't want the person. He don't have the personality. He don't want it.
So it's on the players also to take lead and see what's going on.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. But the thing is that nobody seems to have that thing now that discerns something that the league can fall behind. Because the NBA is all about marketing. That's what the NBA. You have all the talent in the world, but it's the talent. In addition to, these are guys who people want to see in commercials, want to see on billboards.
A lot of them don't want to have a microphone in their face after they've had a loss or something embarrassing happen. They don't want to talk.
Right. Well, but that's always been the case. But you still had those personality guys. You had guys like Barkley. You had guys like Shaq.
That's a reach when you say Barkley with personality.
But his personality was how he acted. All that stuff he did made him a draw.
He still had a bunch of charisma.
He had a bunch of charisma. There was something about him. Even when he said something crazy, it was like, okay, well, that's Barkley. Speaking of, like I said, the difference between a Barkley crazy and somebody like Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown is crazy, but it's not a likable crazy. It's something about him that just makes him unlikable.
See, don't kick a person with mental disorder.
Well, but I'm saying,
I get what you're talking about. Yeah. But the difference is Barkley is talk out the side of your neck and make you want to choke him crazy.
Right.
Antonio Brown is, we know that he has something really wrong with this man. And did
you hear his latest? What he's done now?
Something with Tom Brady again, right?
Well, no, he's moved on from Tom Brady. Now he's going after Taylor Swift. So he went and did an AI generated photo of him kissing Taylor Swift, and that caused all kind of uproar. I
guess he just wants to stay relevant.
He wants to stay relevant.
He's not relevant anymore. Yeah. He doesn't have the spotlight of the NFL behind him.
Right.
So,
he's desperate.
I get it.
So it's a sad case. But yeah, the NBA, we're going to keep him on terms. I need to see, maybe I haven't. I've been following a lot of college basketball. We're going to get to college basketball in a second. I don't see anybody in college basketball coming out this year that looks like they're going to be superstar material. And so I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go as far as finding that next big thing that the league can fall behind. Mm-hmm. Because, LeBron and Curry, they're in maybe 2 more years, 3 years at the most. They need to start building somebody now that the league can market.
They got to.
So that's where the NBA is. Celtics, they're in first place. They're gonna probably get first place in the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference is a different story. We got the Thunder and the Nuggets tied for first, with the T-Wolves just a half game behind.
So why do they have the Nuggets on top if they're tied?
Based on one game, I think there's one game and a half. They played more than the Thunder, so they have,
because they got them at 46 points. And got them at 45.
Yeah, percentage points just based on the fact that one team played more games. So technically, they're technically in a tie, even though one team played a few more games than others. So
understandable.
So yes, either way, it's just real super close in the Western Conference. Whereas the East, the Celtics have run away with it. The battles for second place between the Bucks and the Cavs, mm-hmm. and then the Knicks are close behind. So yeah, so we're gonna see. NBA got some work to do. I mean, like I said, it's still an entertaining product. They still have their stars that they can ride on for now, but they're going to need to really do something to change things up.
The passing of the torch.
Yeah, is going to be a big question.
You think little Bronny is going to be able to do it when he jumps in?
If he jumps in. Right now, he's struggling with USC. their team like 6 games below 500. They're not even gonna make the tournament.
Ooh.
So so that's a tough one there.
Ooh.
I know. Everybody thought
expecting more out of this.
Expecting more of it. They thought he was going to end up being a top first round pick, and I can't see it. So
this is his first year.
His first year, yeah, his first year. So
give the man a break.
I know. So
he just had a heart issue.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I'm wondering, should they have even had him play this year?
Thank you.
I'm starting
because I didn't think he should have played this year.
Should have played either. Now that it's come out how it has, he probably would have been better off redshirting this year and then coming back at full strength next year, because now the stigma's there. It's going to be hard for him to get rid of that stigma. Once people establish that you have a kind of mediocre start, it's hard to break out of that. So we'll see.
Yeah, some people that's being unrealistic of a person having a heart issue during the season. Right. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. It's a hard one. So we'll keep an eye on him. I mean, there's going to be a lot of push though for him to come out, and get into the draft. But I don't think he's ready. So we're gonna see. But in college basketball, this is tournament week. This is those conference tournaments. Now, when I was younger, I used to
wait. What tournament is it, Steve?
In college basketball, each of the conferences hold their own conference tournament. So you have like about 30, I believe it's like 32 different conferences now. They all hold their own individual conferences where the winner of that conference tournament gets an automatic bye to the March Madness.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yes, March Madness. And so it used to be almost as big as the March Madness at one time, because you had a lot of small schools where this was like their only chance to get into the tournament. So it used to be like a lot of exciting games. Guys were playing with their heart on their sleeve because this is their one chance to be in the dance. Now with the NIL and everything that's been going on, it doesn't have the same luster the tournaments did that they had in the past.
Right.
It's kind of like now guys are like, man, I got my money. So, if I make the tournament, great. If I don't make the tournament, I still got some money out of this. So it just doesn't feel the same.
Money just changes.
Money has changed
everything.
Yeah. You don't feel the same excitement for the college game as you did back in the day, as far as the amateurism of it. And so we'll see. I'm gonna see how, of course, we always do. We always put in our brackets for the March Madness. So we're gonna get together this week sometime to put over our brackets. So when we have our show next week, that's gonna be our bracket show.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna go over and tell you guys what bracket you should put in to have a winning NCAA tournament.
I'm studying.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to study. It's hard this year because, like I said, with the whole NIL thing, teams are just not. There's no super teams anymore. There's about 10 teams now who have a legitimate shot to go all the way. At least 10.
And to people who don't know, there's about 100 different free competitions you can jump into to win cars, TVs, trucks, money. Yeah, get into as many as you, get into all of them.
All of them. I mean, I'm so crazy. I do like the NIT tournaments. I do all kind of stuff.
I'm all over the place.
All over the place. So I do everything. So yeah.
Have you ever won any of them?
Man, never. I think the best I ever did, I think I got like out of like 13, I got like 22 right. I only missed like 10 games in the whole thing. And
that's like really good right there.
Yeah, that was good. That was a year I was on point. I had like 3 of the 4 Final Four teams, and the other one made it to the Elite Eight. So I had a real strong year that year. But
shout out to everybody watching on Facebook. Yes. Latham Hillier Jr., thank you for the like. Everybody, likes are free. Hit that like button and subscribe.
Mr. Eagle, we're gonna get to those Eagles in a second.
Oh, you know him by name.
I know by his name, Mr. Eagle himself. So we're gonna talk about the Eagle. Fly, because they made an interesting free agent pickup, but we're gonna get the free agency in a second.
Very interesting
pickup. So there's gonna be a little more anger towards the whole Eagle Giant rivalry this year coming up. Then, not that they didn't have any anger towards it anyway.
It's gonna move up a big level.
A big level. So we're gonna get to that in a second. Did you want to get that phone number out? Do you want people to call in today? Get their opinions on their team?
No, we'll put the phone number out. Yeah. If you want to call in, call in.
Yeah. And Cowboy and Eagle fans, come on back. We still love y'all. I mean, I know y'all still a little bitter over the end of the season.
When we make the right picks, people just get mad.
They get mad, man. But we love y'all. It's the thing about free agency. Everybody feels good about themselves again. It's like the misery of losing the playoffs kind of fades away a little. Now you feel like
no harm, no foul.
no harm, no
and
foul.
Guess what?
Yeah,
my team was total trash this season.
Woo, man.
I don't talk smack to anybody because my team was trash this season. I don't even feel right talking smack to anybody. The only thing that I was saying were my beliefs and the facts that's in front of me and how I decipher them.
Right.
Don't get mad at me for being right.
Yeah.
I was right a lot of the times with what I was saying and how I was putting it. You might not have liked the way I put it, but no way, no shape, form, or fashion was I hating on any team that made it to the playoffs. In fact, I have a strict rule on not being able to talk trash to people who made it and I didn't make it. That's just me.
Now, see, I'm a different person. When it comes to the Cowboys, I have no problem talking trash to them. I don't care if the Commanders have made it in 30 years, whatever, because y'all still try to sell yourselves as America's team.
Well,
America's team's in the heartland of America, Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh,
they are America's team now, no question.
He put the bite on
I
him.
put the bite on him, and let's make it official.
Patrick Mahomes and company.
Company are the America's team. And speaking of that, we've been going back and forth on this for several years now. Several years about this. Patrick Mahomes, we can talk all these free agency moves. Patrick Mahomes probably made the biggest free agency move for someone who wasn't even a free agent. What he did was he renegotiated his contract.
Class act
to free up $21 million to go ahead and sign other players, especially
make his team better.
The one player, though, they had to sign was Chris Jones, the leader of the defense. And thanks to Patrick Mahomes' efforts, they were able to go ahead and lock him in on a deal.
Now, I like a lot of players. I play fantasy football, and I'm into picking up players and being a fan of certain players. But these type of selfless players who don't just think about themselves move so high up to the top of the list. I don't think people really understand the gravity of the situation.
Patrick Mahomes, he can legitimately go out there and say, I want to be the first $100 million man. Pay me 1 year, $100 million. And he can go out there and probably get it.
Actually, somebody that had, and nobody could argue with this man.
Nobody
saying, you know what, give that man his money.
Three-time Super Bowl champion. He could get. Remember, people seem to forget Kansas City prior to Mahomes getting signed. They went almost, I think, 40 plus years without getting to the Super Bowl.
They were silent
for almost 40 years. Had a great fan base. Fan base has always been great. They've always sold out Arrowhead Stadium. But they've been 40 years without a Super Bowl appearance.
They deserve everything they get.
Now, you don't even think about it anymore about the Chiefs. I mean, they just have been going to Super Bowl so many times now. It's just like expected that they're going to get there every year.
And it looks like
they're gonna
get back to back.
Yeah, I mean, right there. You re-sign Chris Jones. You're going to keep Travis Kelce, of course. You're going to keep the other guys. I mean, the guys they're losing are very minimal on the scale. And they're going to go ahead and be able to get guys in the draft.
Well, let's be very, very, very clear about it. Are we finished with college?
Yeah. We
jumping the gun a little bit.
We jump quickly. We have, like I said, we got so much we want to get into.
Yeah, it's just
and college will be next week. Next week's gonna be our big college show because then we'll have our bracket set and we're gonna go ahead and tell you guys who to go for next.
If you want to call in, the number is 1-909-844-4443. Call in, holler at us and let us know what you want to talk about. Until then, we'll keep the number up. If you want to call in, if not, that's fine. We got plenty to come.
We got plenty to come. We got a whole lot to say. So we were talking about Mahomes and say how Mahomes is the most selfless player in the NFL in terms of what he could do to Kansas City as far as what he's worth to that organization, how much he could get out of them. And then you have the complete antithesis, the player who's like the total opposite of Patrick Mahomes. Who am I going to say?
Kirk Cousins.
I
knew you was going to say Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. Oh, my goodness. This guy, he's made the most amount of money for the least amount of success as anybody. I'm not even going to say NFL
I
history.
disagree.
I say professional sports history.
I disagree.
How
now,
you disagree what?
You know who is a better example than Kirk Cousins?
Who?
Russell Wilson.
No, absolutely not. I'm going to tell you why.
Well, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Because Russell Wilson has one thing that Kirk Cousins has come nowhere close to getting.
A Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl ring.
I got you.
So when you have a Super Bowl ring, you get recognition. You get
you command a little more respect.
You get respect.
Okay.
Now he just have a Super Bowl ring, but he should have 2 Super Bowl rings minus one of the worst coaching decisions in the history of the NFL.
Pete Carroll.
So we should look at Russell Wilson as a 2-time Super Bowl champion, because only reason he's not a 2-time champion is because you didn't hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch.
You had one in the chamber. You didn't pull the trigger.
You're on the 1 yard line. The 1 yard line.
You know, I really don't want to talk about this. You know why? I had a Super Bowl square.
Woo.
The person running the Super Bowl square was sitting next to me. When it was on the 1 yard line, you know what he did? He started handing me the money.
Yeah.
And I was so excited because this wasn't just
your hand was out. Your hand was like,
this wasn't no $10 square. I think this was like a $50 or $100 square. So this was like a $6,000 payday, $3,000 or $6,000, something ridiculous like that. And he handed me the money.
Oh my goodness!
This is no brainer. Everybody was like, "Oh, the Seahawks won." When they passed that ball, if you would have saw the looks on everybody's faces and the mouths wide open and the look of disgust. I was sick to my stomach for 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness!
I was counting that money, Steve.
I know. When those situations happen, it eats at your stomach. It eats at your whole soul. That money was in your hand and you had to hand it back to him. You had to sit there. You should have made a run for the dog. You should have literally just did an OJ and just made a run like you're running through the airport.
I was too stunned, man. It was a captivating play.
Oh my goodness!
You can't be that stupid.
Yeah, it was legendary play. So we're gonna give Russell Wilson the respect of he should be a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He should be up there in the echelons of there was like 6 quarterbacks, 7 quarterbacks who won 2 Super Bowls.
And back to back, right?
And back to back. So I'm gonna give Russell Wilson that respect. We're not gonna put Russell Wilson in the same league as Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has had 12 years.
12 years.
And he has 1 playoff win in 12 years.
I got you.
He was handed a Minnesota team that was just 1 quarterback away from the Super Bowl. And he somehow destroyed that organization to the point of where it is now, where they just scraggling and couldn't even get in the playoffs.
That organization made their bed, man.
They made their bed. And he made a lot of money off the organization.
Because Kirk Cousins was with the Washington Redskins, now Washington Commanders. Before he landed where he was at, they knew what it was.
Yes.
And
he milked them.
Without no disrespect to Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is an elite quarterback.
I don't care.
I don't know.
He don't win. He doesn't win the big game.
He does win. That's why everybody in fantasy football wants the person who's playing for him.
Okay.
Every year. He's had the number 1 wide receiver for the last 3 years in fantasy football and running.
Okay.
Running.
So let's give him a fantasy football contract. We're talking about an NFL contract.
Well, the thing is, his wide receiver is the highly regarded wide receiver that almost got traded to who's going after him?
I think somebody's going after him.
But it was a big deal that they just killed.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal that just got killed.
I don't get the deals that are killed. Bottom line is that he's going to be better off now that Cousins is gone. Watch and see. He's going to have a better season.
We will see if he's still a number 1 pick.
Let's see if he's still a number 1 pick.
Because with Kirk Cousins, he was a number 1 pick 3 years in a row.
Absolutely.
Now, we heard your definition. My definition is this.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Same respect, but guess what? 3 times. Not 1, 3 times Super Bowl.
MVP.
Super Bowl champion
and MVP.
Now guess what?
Yeah.
He restructured his contract to get players. 3-time Super Bowl. He knows he's getting his money. Russell Wilson was on the Denver Broncos, a Denver Bronco team that got a little better the season after. Not much, but a little better, because Russell Wilson hasn't been Russell Wilson in how many years since he got to the Broncos. But guess what? Russell Wilson, the year he had the chance to stand up and show that he was going for to be a class act, he said, "No, I'm not taking a pay cut." And so they released this man, and this man went to the next team for the league minimum.
$1.2 million.
I rest my case.
But wait a second. But the sweet part, though, is that Denver still has to pay him the $49 million that they signed him for, because that money was guaranteed.
Understandable.
So bottom line is that Pittsburgh is getting somebody who at the very least cost them nothing. They can go out now, and they've gone out now and made moves.
And I appreciate you making my point about why Russell Wilson got put in there, because he is an elite quarterback. Right. He's made his money. He was on his team, and him himself knows that he has underachieved for the last 2 years. So guess what?
Okay.
He should have restructured his contract to make his team better because of what's going on. What makes him better than Patrick Mahomes? Not anything.
I'm confused.
Confused about what?
You watch the NFL games like I do, right?
Right.
Did you see that man get chastised like he was a little child by a coach for the Broncos last year on the sidelines?
I see that.
Okay. As soon as that happened,
he was ready to go?
You knew he was gone. Yeah, of course he was ready to go. This man is like I said, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion, even though he got robbed of one.
Got you.
You don't chastise that man like he was a child on the sideline. Who?
Well, say it like that, because
that's what it is.
Well, all I'm looking at is
he said, "I'm going to take your little money and I'm going to go on elsewhere, and I'm going to be respected." Look, listen to me. Pittsburgh was one quarterback away from being a serious Super Bowl contender. They're going to be somebody. Pittsburgh is a team you got to look at. Do you see the talent Pittsburgh has?
Hey, not just the talent Pittsburgh has. Pittsburgh has been an elite team for years under the helm of Mike Tomlin.
Exactly.
And this man alone, without a I won't say without a quarterback, because Kenny Pickett was there. He did facilitate the ball, but Russell Wilson, being the Super Bowl champion under Mike Tomlin, the man that plays chess, not checkers.
Plays chess.
Oh my goodness.
And let's keep in mind too, the one thing that people always get on Russell Wilson's case about are the turnovers. Mike Tomlin is the most tolerant quarterback. He had Roethlisberger for all them years, who would make tons of turnovers, but he said, "I'll take the turnovers over the fact of the plays that he makes." And so now you're putting Russell Wilson in a situation where he's not going to have a coach chastising him like a little child over making a turnover. He's going to be able to play freely, do what he does best.
Turn him back into a gunslinger.
Also, he can use his feet now again. He got 2 strong running backs. He got a solid wide receiver, and he got a tight end now to throw the ball to, who's elite. He's going to do something this year.
I like the move.
I love the move. I
like the move. I was only pointing out when don't
okay.
Pee on Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins
but let me ask you
Kirk Cousins.
No, because I'm going to tell you this. He's going to get $45 million next year. Is Atlanta a serious playoff contender? Yes or no?
With Kirk Cousins, yes.
You think? No.
Atlanta makes the playoffs with Kirk Cousins.
No.
Atlanta makes the playoffs with Kirk Cousins.
They got to get past Tampa.
Atlanta makes the playoffs with Kirk Cousins.
So we're writing this down right now. So you said right now, Atlanta is the team to beat in the NFC South. Can I get you to say that so we can write this down? Where's my pen?
I can't say that.
Look, you just said they made the playoffs with Kirk Cousins.
I'm calling it like it is.
Now, only one team out of the South makes the playoffs. So if you're saying they're making the playoffs, that means they got to win the NFC South.
It can be more than one team out the South.
The last 4 or 5 years, there's only been one team coming out of the South. What makes you think now that it's going to be better? You think Kirk Cousins? Oh my Lord! We're gonna get to them in a second. We're gonna get to the Panthers, but right now the South is a 1-team division. One team's gonna win out. The Saints have to have taken a step back. Tampa now has locked in both Baker Mayfield and Evans. It's their division to win. Atlanta's battling for second place. All right. Anyway, let's get to
this is the only reason why I can't
Yeah, you
can't say
know.
what you want me to say.
I
But
know.
Atlanta is the team to beat with Kirk
Okay.
Cousins.
Are you ready to say that they're going to win the NFC South?
Atlanta has upgraded with Kirk Cousins. That's all
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay, so they're upgraded.
All I'm saying, they upgraded.
So they're going to be second place. Like I said, they're going to go from third place to second. All right. Anyway, let's go over these.
If Carolina don't make it, they're going to be first.
All right. We mentioned Russell Wilson going to Pittsburgh.
Right.
Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield stays in Tampa. Gardner Minshew's an interesting one, going from the Colts to the Raiders.
Woo!
That's an interesting move.
Raiders.
Now, one of your quarterbacks you always have love for, Sam Darnold, may now be the starter in Minnesota. I think Sam Darnold going to do more to help your wide receiver that you love so much than Kirk Cousins ever did. That's my prediction, but I'll go.
See, I want y'all to point out, whenever Steve's a hater of somebody, he is pure.
Pure hate.
Pure.
Yeah.
No,
there's no unadulterated. There's no
filter on it. Filter on it.
Kirk Cousins stole from the Commanders for 3 years straight, promising he was going to try and sign with the team, and then ran to Minnesota for higher pastures after he robbed us for 3 years. That's all I got to say about him.
You guys picked him.
We did pick him. They didn't draft, and like I said, he was given the keys to the.
You picked your poison,
picked
sir.
Our poison. Gave him the keys to the car, and then he ran off with it. So, and then the last one, Jameis Winston's an interesting one, going to the Browns to be a little competition. Because we just found out today, we're gonna do a special alert. Do we have a special sound for free agent alert? Joe Flacco. Ooh. Joe Flacco, who helped lead the Cleveland Browns to the playoffs last year, today signed with the Indianapolis Colts.
Joe Flacco,
where he might compete for a starting job.
Are we serious?
We're serious, yeah. Joe Flacco.
Did you see Joe Flacco be Joe Flacco last year?
Yeah, he looked
Did you
good.
see us give Joe Flacco all that praise, and then he got to a game that was very, very winnable, and then Joe Flacco showed up again?
He does what Joe Flacco does.
It must be nice to be on your couch, and come back and make millions, and then decide, you know what, I'm gonna stay another year from what I showed him last year and make another $8 million.
Hey, this is me. Joe Flacco got the one thing once again that puts him above your man Kirk Cousins. What is that? A ring.
Oh my goodness.
When you got a Super Bowl ring, you're always in the discussion.
Oh my goodness.
Does Joe Flacco have a ring or not?
Hey, it's nice. It must be nice.
A beautiful ring. And Joe Flacco earned it. He didn't just go out there and just show up. He went out there and balled out in the playoffs.
Showed out.
And so
until that last game.
Until our last game this year. But he does have that ring. As long as you got that ring, you always going to be relevant.
Hey, and over there he got a bona fide running back and some wide receivers.
So I see the Colts may be the favorite in NFC South next year, even over the Texans. But the Texans are still going to be sweet. That's going to be a nice battle between the Texans and Colts next year. So that is the quarterbacks. Right now, let's get to probably the interesting move we talked about earlier a little bit. Saquon Barkley.
Oh my goodness.
Who broke the hearts of Giants fans by just going about an hour and a half south on 95 to the beautiful city of
Giants fans' hearts.
He probably walked to Philadelphia to go. He was so excited to leave New York. He probably walked all the way to Philadelphia to go sign with the Eagles.
Free.
He said, man, I can finally go to a place where I can win. Get it out of this Giants curse. And so he went with the Eagles. So you're going to have a nice Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley backfield.
He's going to be over there so he's going to be the person help doing the tush push.
Yes, he is. Oh my goodness. That's going to be a beautiful thing. So
must be nice.
So that was the big signing of the running backs. But we had a couple other big ones. We had Josh Jacobs, who has been doing pretty strong for the Raiders has decided to leave the nice desert of Las Vegas to go to the cold of Green Bay.
And I must remind you, remember I picked him up and he was the number one
Yes,
running
you
back that
did.
year. I had
Yes,
him on every team.
Yes, you did.
I also must remind you, in fantasy, you guys laughed at me when I picked him.
Sure did. Hey, I still laugh about it, but he did do the job for you. So I can't complain about Josh
Thank
Jacobs.
you.
He got the job
Thank
done
you.
for you.
Thank you very much.
Now, will you get the job done in Green Bay? What do you think? Do you think it's a better fit for him than Las Vegas?
I say it's dangerous because they got a bona fide quarterback over there in Love.
Yes.
And now Aaron Jones was the man. And I think he still has something left in the tank.
Hasn't been signed yet. I'm still waiting to see who's going to pick up Aaron Jones.
No, Aaron Jones is on the team.
Where'd he go?
Aaron Jones. Where did Aaron Jones go? Aaron Jones.
I think you think Aaron Jones was thinking about going somewhere. I don't think he signed yet.
No, he got picked up. Aaron Jones.
Well, you work on that. I'm going over these other picks. So we had Derrick Henry, who a couple of years ago was the elite running back in the NFL. For some reason has fallen off a little bit, but he's going to get back on top again, playing for the Ravens. Now imagine that Ravens backfield when you got Lamar Jackson you got to worry about, and you got Derrick Henry you got to worry about. I mean, that's a scary proposition for the rest of the AFC.
Minnesota.
So Aaron Jones with the Minnesota?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, Aaron Jones in Minnesota. What do you think? Does he have a chance to do something up there?
What is the quarterback going to do?
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold Sam Darnold has a chance a lot of quarterbacks don't get to start once again.
Once again, this is third time. This is the Jets had him starting. Then he had started with the Panthers. Now this is his third.
Each time he's had an elite wide receiver.
Yeah, so this is the time.
And this time we know he's bona fide.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to see what happens.
Yeah, so we're going to see what happens. So, yeah, Derrick Henry to Baltimore is going to be interesting. Tony Pollard, who's for some reason...
You really think he's going to be interesting over there?
Oh, look at that backfield. You're going to have him back there with Lamar Jackson who can run at any time.
Run at any time.
Defenses can't just load up on Derrick Henry when you have to worry that he could potentially fake a handoff to Henry at any time and then just take off. Everybody's going to put all their energy on Henry.
My thing is this: they had Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
They had
Dalvin Cook's not Henry.
They had Edwards.
Edwards is not Henry.
But they didn't even use those guys when those guys were averaging 6-7 yards a carry.
Right.
So if you have a backfield that's already averaging 6-7 yards a carry, so what? You have another guy that comes in average 9 yards a carry. If you don't use him,
okay,
what good is he?
Because Derrick Henry's a guy who can take it to the house any play. Dalvin Cook and Gus Edwards are not those type of players. They're good players. They can make good plays, but they can't make a elite play at all times.
Hey, I want to see it.
And that's that's the worry, is that you got him who can do that with a quarterback who himself can make big plays at any time.
And I think that's their Achilles heel.
Well, we're gonna find out. Can they coexist in the same backfield? Is gonna be the big question.
It's sad because I talk all that stuff, but Zay Flowers I believe is the reason why they didn't make it last season. Because if he makes that touchdown, it puts the pressure back on the other team. And that fumble,
But he was a rookie. I mean, he made a rookie mistake, but now he's not a rookie no more. He's gonna be the number one guy for the Ravens. That team's gonna have a lot of, and let's not forget, they still got a draft. So I mean, that team's gonna have a lot of weapons. It's
funny how this free agency is going, and we still haven't made it to the draft.
Oh, I know. And Tony Pollard, who for some reason fell off in Dallas, he looked like he's the guy who ran Ezekiel Elliott out of town. Everybody thought he was going to be the premier back for the Cowboys this year. Had kind of a mediocre season, all in all, this shit last year. He now is in Tennessee taking the place of Henry.
Well, he had a mediocre season, but you got to also remember they had Dak Prescott over there trying to play him like he was Peyton Manning or somebody.
Well, yeah.
Okay. A running back will have a mediocre season if you're trying to pass the ball more times than run it. If you have a runner, run him.
Yeah, well, I need to be. I agree with you on that. We had that argument already about that, so
By
I
the
agree
way,
with you.
who's Dallas's running back now?
Right now, nobody. We gotta wait and see. I'm assuming
They're going to the draft.
they're gonna have to do it in the draft. They're gonna
Hmm.
probably have to go out and try to move up to take the top running back in the draft.
I
So
thought Henry would be an excellent fit over there in Dallas.
I thought so too, but obviously they didn't think so. So oh well. And then you got Austin Eckler going to the Washington Commanders. That's going to be an interesting move for them. And then DeAndre Swift, he just seems to bounce around. He went from Detroit to Philadelphia. Now he's going to the Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
All right.
The
Now
Bears. Their quarterback seems to be about. Do you think that's going to happen? They're talking about him going to the Raiders.
Yeah, it looks like it. Because now if you're going to get Swift, you're going to have to go out now and get that rookie quarterback to get just for money reasons. So I think he's going to get traded because now they got this expensive running back. They're going to have to go ahead and get that rookie contract.
So we can say it now. The Bears are going to go get the quarterback and then go get Morrison Jefferson Jr. with their second pick.
There you go. That's it.
They're going to look really, really good on paper.
Look really good on paper. So speaking of wide receivers, I guess the big thing now. Yesterday we had the big side. Actually, it was this morning. Calvin Ridley also went to Tennessee. So you got Ridley and Pollard in Tennessee. So we're going to see how that plays out with that quarterback. I guess
Tennessee?
Tennessee. They still got the quarterback with Levis. And so I guess they're going to give him the keys. Got him some weapons now. So biggest thing in wide receivers has been a lot of them re-signed with their former teams. T. Higgins is franchise tag. Pippen Jr. signed back with the Colts.
Didn't he ask for a trade?
He asked for a trade, so he's.
You think they're going to give that to him?
I don't think so. I think they're going to find a way to talk him out of it. But and Evans re-signed with Tampa. So the wide receiver has been pretty quiet
because this draft is wide receiver heavy.
Yeah, wide receiver heavy. So people are kind of holding off on going after wide receivers. And then we got for tight end. The only real tight end that really made a big move was Greg Everett.
Mason Rudolph went to Tennessee also.
Yes, he did. So he might be the backup behind Levis. So that's going to be interesting for him. Greg Everett for the Los Angeles Rams and moved to the Bears as well. So he's going to be the tight end for the Bears. Let's get to your Carolina Panthers. Because now that we're moving to defense, we're going to talk about the big defensive move of the free agency was Brian Burns, who was franchise tagged by the Panthers and then traded on a 1-year deal to the Giants. How do you feel about that?
I have mixed emotions. And you know what? I might as well make the announcement. I will be starting a Carolina podcast where we talk strictly Carolina moves and what's going on. Because the other day I was on some other podcasts that I belong to and talking to people like a few different shows. And Carolina's really my people and my fan base with my team is really down right now. We're tired of this taking these L's. What I wanted to say is Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation, keep your head up. See, check this out. We went through a couple bad regimes at the helm for coaching. We have a new coach right now. We trying to get a new way of looking at things and a new way of moving. You have to be positive. And the first thing everybody, and I looked at all the blogs, I see what you all said. O-line, O-line, O-line. And we're addressing that right now, getting that O-line stout for Bryce Young. Next, we have to go to wide receiver. I understand, like Steve just said, about our defensive pieces. But what I like to point out to people is we like to say when we say defense wins games. This defense did not win a game for us last season. It wasn't a game changer where they were getting the ball back, putting the ball back in Bryce Young's hands. It wasn't a defense like the past defenses with the Steelers, the Steel Curtain, or Baltimore's defense when Ray Lewis was there. It just wasn't that. It wasn't that. So guess what? Yes, we had some excellent pieces, but we can put a defense back together. We have to think about the money and putting butts in the seats. And I hear a lot of people out there saying, hey, you don't own an interest in the team. Do you know how much Carolina gear I buy? Yes, I do own an interest in this team. I own a big interest in this team. And guess what? If you don't like it, don't go on about your business. But check this out. We have to be positive and we have to get an offense that can move this ball where the defense we can get defensive players to stand up. Once we have a decent offense, we'll bring a decent defense. Trust me, we will be fine. Bryce Young is our QB. This year, we gonna be in there, but we got to get these wide receivers together. We must realize we don't have a number one pick, so we getting makeup pieces because who really you think wants to come to our team, Carolina, with the regime looking the way it is, and most of all, the owner making the decisions the way he's made. This owner has come in here, and I can't say many good things about him because who buys a team and puts a professional team in the hands of a college quarterback the first year out? Who does that? He did and gave him a lot of money. I'm trying to hold out faith, but we have to take it the way it is. It looks like he's learning slow, but he's learning. He came from the Pittsburgh organization, so I expected more, but he's learning. With this regime, it's looking like they're starting from the inside out, like they should have done in all the years. They gutted the team before he got there. He didn't have anything to work with, so we have to make pieces and make things do from what we have. Cali Cat Pack, Roaring Riot, Panther Nation, stand up. We will rise again from the South. Uh, let the haters talk. Let them have they talk right now because when Bryce Young starts showing out, we gonna have a lot of mouth to give,
Okay.
and that's just it.
All right. Well, speaking of the Steelers, I did get a wide receiver from the Steelers.
Mm.
So you're not. I see you're not too excited about that.
I have to see him. Is he the same person he was when he was winning all those accolades the year before? Not last year, but the year before.
Okay.
I have to see him return to rare form. I also want to see us get a fresh wide receiver, and I would love for us to make a splash at wide receiver and get a veteran with hands.
Okay. All right. All right. So I take it that right now you're not too excited about the overall free agency moves so far, other than
No,
the line.
working on that offensive line, I am excited.
Okay.
I am excited, but I also wanted to point out to people, I don't care if we had the all Madden team on the line when you know the wide receivers are subpar and all you have to do is man or double team them. It's easy for them to rush more people at Bryce Young.
Oh, he was beat up.
I don't care how good the offensive line is. If you don't have a threat to get rid of the ball fast, they are going to come. They're going to throw stunts. But you got to understand football to understand what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of that, thank you guys for giving one of your best defensive players, Frankie Louvu.
Yeah, you came up on that. You
Yeah,
came up on that,
so-
and you got him for nothing.
For nothing. We'll gladly take him. And then we also today added with us Wagner. Those who know Bobby Wagner, his successes with the Seahawks.
How do you feel about your team?
You know, so it feels good to be back in the game. That I now have an organization. This is our first one with the new owner. We now are making. We're not just throwing money away for stupid reasons. Now we're actually making football moves. We went out and got Marcus Mariota to be a good backup because now we're going to decide. It's you don't get Mariota unless you know that you're going to get Jaden Daniels as your number 2 pick, another guy who plays like Mariota, running quarterback. So we feel good about that. I said we got Austin Eckler. We know hopefully if he's anywhere near the touchdown machine he used to be with the Chargers.
You guys have made some excellent picks in my eyes.
Yes, and then getting Wagner and Louvu as linebackers, we now going to be stout. You know what they bring to the table. Don't forget, we already got that elite front four. So now our linebackers are going to be solid along with our front four. That defense is going to be nothing nice that Dan Quinn's going to have. So
what's your prediction for winning your division?
I think it's 50-50 now, which is
Mm.
remember the NFC East is always a crapshoot every year.
Over
Teams.
the Cowboys
and the Eagles.
The Eagles?
Yeah, because they're gonna knock each other off. It's gonna be
they're gonna cancel each other out.
They're gonna cancel each other out, and then the Commanders can very well, like I said, I gotta wait and see what we do in the draft. But I think the Commanders now are in the running, whereas last year we had no chance. It was like we had Rivera and we were nowhere close to being anywhere near the Eagles or Cowboys. Now this year we can give them a game, so I'm excited.
Okay, all right.
It feels good to be a Commanders team that I can actually talk about them and not be embarrassed.
Got a little excitement.
There's no, not ain't just excitement. It's lack of embarrassment. We're not an embarrassing team anymore. We're not a team that people look on the schedule and like, oh, okay, easy win. Okay, we'll take that one.
And next week we're also going to talk about the who do we think is going back and what teams are look like they're going to stand up in their division.
Oh yeah. We still got it's like over 400 guys still need to be signed in free agency. So I mean, by next week we're going to have a lot clearer picture as to who did what in free agency.
Oh, with that, it's almost that time.
We do got to close out on one note. There's one last thing we do got to talk about, which is this Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight.
Oh my goodness, you brought it up.
I had to bring it up. We're gonna close on this real quick.
Okay, you brought it up.
Let's just be real about this. The state of Texas should be ashamed of themselves. Don't they have a boxing commission in Texas?
Okay.
How are you gonna sit here and have this 57-year-old man? I don't care how great a boxer he used to be. You're gonna sit up here and just let him go out there and get himself seriously hurt, or find a 27-year-old who's been training and boxing for years now, fighting against other guys.
Mike Tyson Iron Mike Tyson.
Iron Mike Tyson struggled against Roy Jones Jr. 3 or 4 years ago.
They gave Rocky back his license.
This is me. This is embarrassing. Texas needs to be a shot. They should be ashamed of themselves for putting this fight on and making it like it's legit. I grew up a lover of Muhammad Ali, the true greatest of all time. And the one thing that hurt us about Muhammad Ali was that he should have retired in 74 after he beat George Foreman. That should have been his retirement.
So you saying Mike Tyson doesn't have a chance in this fight?
It's not matter he has a chance. It's not worth the risk of putting his harm and health on him. This man's been smoking weed for the last God knows how long, every day. His reflexes are going to be slow.
He looked good when he training.
Everybody looks good in training. There's a big difference between training and
he looked like he had iron speeds. I mean, iron fast speed still.
Well, everybody looks good, like I said, in training videos. When you get out there and you got to get that first blow to your head,
everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face.
Exactly. That's Mike Tyson's famous line. And so I'm not a fan of this at all. I needed to see Tyson at least get a tune-up fight. Let me see what he looks like in a tune-up against somebody.
Would feel better if they gave him a tune-up fight and he went out there and destroyed the tune-up fight?
Yeah, if it's somebody who's legitimate.
He'd still be 57, though.
Yeah, but then at that point, then I can sit there and say, okay, well, at least he's had a tune-up fight. There's someone I can sit there and feel. I don't feel any good at all about this fight happening.
I call it a money grab.
Of course it's a money. But remember, that's why Muhammad Ali ended up getting the brain damage, getting the Parkinson's, was that he just kept getting the money grabs, leading his career when he had nothing left. And remember, Muhammad Ali was only.
Do you think that triggered his?
Yeah, of course it did. Fight after fight after fight of getting all those shots to the head is what triggered that Parkinson's and stuff.
Wow.
And so I remember, Muhammad Ali was only maybe in his late 30s, early 40s when he was getting destroyed by Larry Holmes, getting destroyed by Trevor Berbick and those guys. Mike Tyson's 57. Even when you want to bring up the idea of Foreman was 45 when he won the heavyweight title. That's 12 years younger than what Mike Tyson is now. And we're sitting here and we're going to put him into a ring and have him fight against somebody who's been fighting.
You can watch the fight?
No, I would never. I don't pay for boxing pay-per-views anyway. I think, like I said, it's been many, many years since I've gone to a boxing match. It's over the weekend. You had Anthony Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou. I didn't even know about the fight was even happening until I heard on the news that they said it was
boxing is not
knockout.
the same. Boxing used to be something where you start going to get the food together a whole couple of weeks before the match even happens. It was a big ordeal. You calling family members from out of town, they flying in to come watch the fight at your house.
Yeah.
Boxing is just not the same
It's not
anymore.
the same.
It's
just falling. It's falling behind soccer. It's falling behind hockey. It's just an afterthought at this
that
point.
same excitement is not in this game
It's
like it used
gone.
to be.
It's gone. So yeah, so we're gonna close on that. Tell us what you guys think about. If you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments if you think that boxing is still elite. If people actually still get excited about boxing anymore.
And we're back. We will see y'all again next week at 7 p.m.
7
sharp
p.m. sharp.
here, Blow the Whistle Sports. Please like, subscribe, and share. Me and Steven, we have another great show for y'all planned next week. Can't wait
March
to see you.
Madness. The madness begins.
All right, people. Peace out.
Peace.